Altan Tuya case reopened if there is new evidence. Ferry stranded near Kuala Perlis. Good afternoon, I'm Zalia Khairin Ismail. Welcome to News on 2. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad has agreed that a fresh probe can be conducted into the murder of Mongolian national Altan Tuya Sharibu if there is new evidence. Altan Tuya's father, Dr. Setef Sharibu, met with Tun Dr. Mahathir yesterday in Perdana Putra, accompanied by his lawyer Ram Kapal Singh, to discuss the possible reopening of the investigation, explaining the entire process of the case to the Prime Minister. Following the meeting, Ram Kapal said Tun Dr. Mahathir was well aware of the facts of the case and circumstances, and it stressed that everything must adhere to and follow the rule of law.
Certain we discussed the facts of the case. But of course he said it has to be left to the police to investigate. But the government will cooperate in any way it can, as long as it's within the rule of law.
Speaking in Putrajaya, Ram Kapal said a time frame of 4 months has been allocated to police to conduct further investigation after the investigation papers have been reopened. Altan Tuya is believed to have been killed and her body blown up with C4 explosives at a secondary jungle in Mukim Bukit Raja Klang between 10 p.m. on October 19, 2006 and 1 a.m. on October 20, 2006. Meanwhile, Dr. Setef Sharibu has thanked the Malaysian government's commitment in trying to solve the murder of his daughter according to the law. He is also optimistic that justice will be served regarding his daughter's murder case.
It was wonderful for me.
Over 1,000 accidents were reported in Kedah across 13 days of Selamat from June 8th up to yesterday. Baling district recorded the highest number of accidents and fatalities, followed by Kuala Muda and Kota Star. Kedah Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Deputy Chief DSP Hussein Zamora said of the total 22 accident cases involved 28 fatalities.
Kebanyakannya adalah terbabas. So terbabas ni mungkin banyak faktor lah. Mungkin disebabkan skill pemanduan penunggang ataupun yang terlibat, atau juga mungkin ada faktor-faktor fizikal sama ada dalaman ataupun luaran. Mungkin dia letih dan sebagainya, dia gagal, dan mungkin ada faktor fizikal, mungkin keadaan lampu jalan dan sebagainya atau waktu hujan, itu mungkin juga menjadi faktor penyumbang.
Speaking to reporters at the operations held at Jalan Sultanah Bahia yesterday, he said the number of accidents this year showed a drop as compared to last year. However, there was a slight increase in the number of deaths. Meanwhile, DSP Hussein said traffic volume was expected to increase in certain areas this weekend following the end of school holidays in conjunction with the Aidilfitri celebration. He advised motorists to be more careful and ensure that their vehicles are in good condition in embarking on a long-distance drive. Selamat, which began on June 8th, ends tomorrow. A ferry, along with its 432 passengers, was stranded for more than 6 hours at a sandbar at the Kuala Perlis estuary about 0.8 nautical miles from the Kuala Perlis passenger ferry terminal yesterday. Kuala Perlis Maritime Head Commander Nurul Azmi Zakaria said the ferry was heading to Kuala Perlis from Langkawi when it got stuck at the sandbar at about 8 p.m. Efforts to transfer the passengers and 12 crew on the ferry were carried out jointly by the Marine Police, the Customs Department, Fire and Rescue Department, Tuanku Fauzia Hospital and the local fishing community using boats. Speaking to reporters, Nurul Azmi said food and drinks were also distributed to the passengers, adding that the process to transfer the passengers started at 12:15 a.m. today and ended at 2:30 a.m. Nur Azmi said preliminary investigation found that the ferry had deviated from its original course as it was dark and strong winds at speed of 14 knots. However, an in-depth investigation will still be conducted by the Marine Department. The Maritime Department could be contacted any time for assistance and during emergency through the 24 hours MERS 999 and its Kuala Perlis Maritime Operations Centre at 04 985 1072 or 04 985 1162. A man died after the car he was driving skidded and fell into a ravine during an incident along kilometre 64.2 of Jalan Yong Peng, Kluang earlier today. Kluang District Police Chief ACP Muhammad Laham verified that the victim, Julkifli Hassan, had died at the scene. ACP Muhammad said that the victim was on his way to Batu Empat Jalan Mersing during the incident. The victim's vehicle veered onto the shoulder of the road before it crashed into an electric pole and fell into a ravine. The body was taken to Hospital Encik Besar Hajah Kalsum Kluang for post-mortem. The case is being investigated under Section 41, Subsection 1 of the Road Transport Act 1987. Johor Police have arrested a man linked to the death of a 7-year-old girl who died of head injuries due to firecrackers. Kota Tinggi OCPD Superintendent Ashmon Baja said the 35-year-old suspect was detained at about 1:30 p.m. yesterday at Felda, Papan Timur. On Monday, and after battling for 4 days at the Sultanah Aminah Hospital, Nur Akira Khaifa Muhammad Saad succumbed to her death due to severe head injuries caused by firecrackers on the eve of Hari Raya. Superintendent Ashmon said in a statement that the arrest of the man was based on information and investigation on the case, and that the investigation papers will be submitted to the Deputy Public Prosecutor's Office for further action. At the time of the incident, Nur Akira was playing with firecrackers with her cousins in the compound of her grandfather's house. And coming up next, broadband in Malaysia price to fall by 25%. Stay with us. The price of broadband in Malaysia is expected to fall by at least 25% by year-end, according to Communications and Multimedia Minister Gobind Singh Deo. This followed the implementation of the Mandatory Standard on Access Pricing or MSAP since June 8 this year.
Selepas daripada itu, saya harap bahawa kita dapat lihat penurunan harga dalam broadband services sebanyak at least 25%. Selepas saya dilantik sebagai Menteri Komunikasi dan Multimedia yang baru, saya telah pun mengumumkan bahawa Pakatan Harapan akan ambil langkah-langkah untuk menurunkan harga jalur lebar serta menambah kelajuan perkhidmatan itu.
He spoke after attending a post-cabinet meeting in Putrajaya. Gobind also emphasized that Malaysians are paying a higher price for internet services in the country compared with neighbours Singapore and Thailand. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Communications and Multimedia will conduct an audit on 2 Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission MCMC fund groups following inquiries regarding their management. Gobind said the audit would be done by the Audit Department, independent parties or former Auditor General Tan Sri Amrin Buang, who heads the Governance, Procurement and Finance Committee.
Saya akan mengadakan perbincangan dengan Jabatan Audit Negara. Saya juga akan adakan perbincangan dengan SKMM kerana ada perundangan ataupun peruntukan undang-undang yang terpakai berkenaan dengan cara dalam mana wang-wang ini harusnya diauditkan dalam akta yang berkaitan.
The MCMC fund was created for MCMC's financial requirements as stipulated in the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998, while the Universal Service Provision USP fund was for the purpose of narrowing the digital divide in rural and isolated areas through providing communication and internet access where the services were limited. Although the two funds were audited annually, Gobind said there had been many queries warranting the ministry to call for an independent audit to make verifications. He said the financial statement of MCMC Fund showed that it had 800 million ringgit in its coffers as at December 31st, 2016, while that of USP Fund showed an amount of 8.5 billion ringgit in the same fiscal period. Meanwhile, reporters at the media conference also asked Gobin about the challenge issued by Tengku Razali Hamzah to Khairi Jamaluddin and Datuk Sri Ahmad Said Hamidi to debate on issues and to declare their assets in regard to the contest for the UMNO presidency.
Tak ada masalah, sila. Apa masalah dia? Kalau nak debate, kita telah pun semalam, as you see, Tengku Razali was on air. Terpulanglah kepada Khairi ataupun Datuk Sri Zahid Hamidi sama ada pun tidak nak sahut cabaran itu.
Recently, Tengku Razali was heard in an interview as saying he wants to challenge both the UMNO Youth Head and the UMNO Deputy President to a debate. Khairi, who is also a Rembau Member of Parliament, said he is ready to take on Tengku Razali's challenge at any time. The government has agreed to set up a special task force led by Economic Affairs Minister Datuk Sri Azmin Ali to look into the issue of monopoly in 4 ministries. Health Minister Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said the 4 ministries included health, transport, economic affairs as well as agriculture and agro-based industry. Dr. Zulkifli reiterated that Tun Dr. Mahathir wants the issue to be solved as soon as possible.
Satu kajian menyeluruh ya berkaitan dengan polisi perolehan atau polisi monopoli ini akan dibuat kajian semula dan supaya akan dapat dirumuskan satu pendekatan paling baik dalam pendekatan apa yang kita katakan sebagai best practice ataupun tapi rules yang paling baik untuk mendapatkan value for money.
The Health Minister also said procurement for medical supply involves 3 methods, which is an open tender, direct negotiation and concession agreement. Meanwhile, Dr. Zulkifli said the government has agreed to set up a health advisory council, which will consist of 5 to 7 prominent individuals from various fields. Their names will be announced next week, and the council will comprise of locals who are recognized as global top leaders. The Selangor Palace said the appointment of Amiruddin Shari as the new Menteri Besar of Selangor was made in accordance with the Constitution of Selangor 1959. According to a statement in the Facebook account of the Selangor Royal Office, PKR President Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail had nominated 3 people, including Amiruddin, the Assemblyman for Sungai Tua, to succeed Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali as the Menteri Besar in a letter to the Sultan of Selangor on June 7th. Amiruddin was sworn in as the 16th Menteri Besar of Selangor before the Sultan of Selangor at Istana Alam Shah in Klang. He succeeded Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin, who had been appointed as the Minister for Economic Affairs in the Federal Cabinet. The statement said that Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah had taken note of the prerequisites in the Constitution of Selangor, whereby His Royal Highness has to appoint the Menteri Besar, a state assemblyman who has the majority support and must be a Malay and a Muslim. Ijo Assemblyman Dr. Idris Ahmad of PKR had reportedly claimed that he was the only candidate preferred by the 4 component parties of Pakatan Harapan as the Menteri Besar, and that Amiruddin only had the blessings of Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin. General Tan Sri Zulkifli Zainal Abidin has been appointed the Chief of Defence Forces, succeeding General Tan Sri Raja Muhammad Affandi Raja Muhammad Noor effective yesterday. General Tan Sri Zulkifli, 59, officially assumed his duties from General Tan Sri Raja Muhammad Affandi, who went on mandatory retirement. The handover ceremony was witnessed by Defence Minister Muhammad Sabu at the Ministry of Defence in Kuala Lumpur. Previously, General Tan Sri Zulkifli had served as the Chief of the Army in 2011 before being appointed to the Vice-Chancellor of the National Defence University of Malaysia in 2013. Born in Port Weld, Perak, General Tan Sri Zulkifli began his service with the Armed Forces on January 30th, 1978 by joining the Royal Malay Regiment. He served as a senior instructor at the New Zealand Army Infantry School for 2 years, where he was tasked with educating army officers from New Zealand and other Commonwealth countries on weaponry, tactical studies and counter-insurgency warfare. He also served as a lecturer in management at the Army Management Training Centre from 1992 to 1993. General Tan Sri Zulkifli holds a master's degree in management from the Asian Institute of Management and has attended various management courses, including a senior management development program at the John F. Kennedy School of Government, Harvard University. Boost, a homegrown e-wallet app, aims to increase the number of its users to 4 million by the end of the year. Boost Chief Executive Officer Christopher Tiffin said since being launched in January last year, 2.5 million people have already started downloading the application.
Use the application, and then I think most importantly is about creating the ability to easily and digitally give back, and that's why Do Good with Boost is a key component of what we have in our environment at the moment, which is focusing on being able to give back and donate.
Met yesterday, the media was shown how the app could be used to pay for parking on most prominent streets around the Klang Valley and pay bills through its partnership with Telekom Malaysia, Shabas, Astro, among others. Another unique feature of Boost is that it can be used to channel money to charitable organizations as well as Tabung Harapan Malaysia. And still ahead, anxious relatives await news of sinking ferry. Details coming up. Anxious relatives were waiting for news next to Lake Toba in northern Sumatra on Wednesday after the sinking of a ferry there. Search efforts are continuing for the 192 people presumed drowned after the ferry sank on Monday. The boat was 5 times over its passenger capacity of 43 and equipped with only 45 life jackets. Only 18 survivors have been found. The traditional wooden boat may have been operating illegally with no manifest or passenger tickets, sparking confusion and a string of changing official passenger estimates. Indonesia's disaster agency originally said some 80 people along with dozens of motorcycles were on the overloaded 43 passenger capacity vessel when it overturned and sank. The search, involving 350 personnel and at least half a dozen boats, has turned up items of clothing, bags and traces of oil from the ferry, but just several victims. Ferry tragedies are common in Indonesia, an archipelago of more than 17,000 islands, with weak enforcement of safety regulations often to blame. And that concludes this afternoon's edition of News on 2. In our top story, Al Tantuya case reopened if there is new evidence. News on 2's evening edition goes on air at 6 p.m. today to give way to the live telecast of the Denmark versus Australia World Cup match with kickoff at 8 p.m. on TV2. Until then, I'm Zala Ismail. Thanks for watching and have a pleasant day ahead.